Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It's Jen Zoe here, and I'm so excited about what are we on week 17? Who knows what week it is of the year? Most of us don't. Most of us are just kind of like go through life and like don't even think about like that it's week 17 or what's going on in the year. It's one of the things I love about Jesse. It's literally it's like plan your year, like and reverse engineer out the things you want and then fill in the gaps. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. This one that keeps coming up. And if you ever had like that something just kind of like a little pebble in your shoe, like this, it's just slightly irritating, maybe kind of like a grain of sand for an oyster, and you're like, and just kind of keeps running, coming up and keep coming up, keep coming up. And what we say is what you resist persists, right? And we're talking about the gap between manifesting and dreaming and actually having what you want, because when you're thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking and thinking and feeling, you create this loop for yourself. And it's really powerful to understand how to intentionally feel, so you intentionally think, so you intentionally attract, and the manifestation actually occurs. That's universal law. It's the law of attraction. It's the law of attraction. And unlike our legislators in up at the White House, where the universal law is not something that you can argue with, or you could try, but all that does is put you in a place where you feel a certain way. And when you allow yourself to feel a certain way because of a certain circumstance, then you are actually giving your control over to something from an outside force, which makes all of the little nuances of life that are not necessarily going our way much more powerful than they actually need to be. And when you can think about, I think one of the things I refer to a lot in these is are books like Night by Elie Wiesel, or Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And those books, like just those alone, really talk about how you put yourself in a place to feel a certain way, to attract a certain thing, and to actually have it come into existence. And Napoleon Hill talks about it. There's so many different sources, but I want you to think about source energy, like source, capital S, and how you were that before you even were manifested into this body. And now that you are in this body, when you are like, well, why don't I have the truck or the man or the relationship or the, and I want a truck apparently, or the property or the money or whatever it is, it's because you're vibrating at a different frequency that would attract that. You cannot, by universal law, be at a low vibration and attract very much into your life. And I'm reading a really great book. Where's my copy? Here it is. I'm reading a really great book right now. This is my book for the week, you guys. I'm going to be talking about this in my Zen club. I've got two books that I'm reading. This is a refresher. So I'm kind of like digging into two books a week, one that's a refresh and one that is new. But this is my new book for the week. It's called Social Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. And I believe he wrote the Emotional Intelligence as well. And that's a really powerful book, because you start thinking about what are the thoughts, what are the emotions. When you are happy, what do you attract? Happiness and happy people and happy energy. When you're angry, I want you to think about anger in a really, because I've been delving into anger a lot lately because I've been feeling some of it. And anger is not especially useful, but it is a guide, especially if your boundaries have been crossed, or you've been put in a situation where you're feeling that feeling of anger. And to be step back and have some detachment from the actual emotion itself, and put yourself in a space where you're like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What is actually happening that is causing this? Is it something that I learned as a child? Is it something that I learned from my parents? And the three questions I always ask are, what's the conversation? Who's having this conversation? Is it like I said, your mom, an old belief system, somebody even from a past life? And what's the belief that's driving it? And how are you feeling about it? And that right there is the most important piece, because when you can start feeling good, no matter what is going on around you, that is going to raise your vibration. Feeling appreciation, feeling grateful, feeling like really high vibe. And you're like, oh, I want to feel like this for as long as possible. Well, how long is as long as possible? It's your choice. It's totally up to you. If you're on here and you're watching, make sure you drop me a comment. So I want to say hi to my followers and people that really that this is resonating with. So I want to help you. And because I've been there where I didn't want to get off the couch. I didn't want to do anything but eat tacos. And I'm still like, I don't know about you, but I gained way more than 19 during COVID-19. And that was a really big piece, was like that right there. Why am I fat? Why am I broke? Why am I struggling? Why is this? Like, asking these questions are coming from where? Like, what is driving those conversations in your mind? And how are you feeling? And we think about it from an emotional state. When you feel like, because an emotion is a manifestation. When you feel that emotion, ask yourself, what's the conversation that manifested this emotion? Because usually it's something you're thinking about, especially like annoyance or irritation or anger. Like, it's something about something that happened outside of your control. Generally, somebody isn't doing something the way you want them to, or the circumstances aren't showing up the way you want them to. So those things, you got to go check in. You go, because what we tend to do is we tend to really celebrate all of the things, like, woohoo, look what I did. Like, I've got on my shelves up here. Oh, look at all these beautiful oils. Look how organized they are. But if the shelf fell off the wall and my oils went everywhere, what would I say? Oh, stupid wall, stupid shelf, stupid drywall that doesn't hold up a screw. We tend to externalize the things that we don't want to take blame for. Not that we're going around blaming ourselves, but we internalize the things that we like in our life, that we manifest. We're like, look at what I did. And then when it's something like, well, I did that too, because I was the one that chose to put the shelf up on the wall where I put it on and use the screws that I did during the time of year and all these other things. Now, the tricky piece of that is that you hypervigilant people are out there like, well, I got to make sure I measure the weight bearingness of the wall, where the studs are, how long the screws should be. And you can get paralysis analysis around that. When you can, on the other hand, go forth into the unknown and uncertainty and variety in your life and step into that vortex with full faith that whatever is happening is meant to happen for you, to either guide you towards your highest and best, if you're listening, or to allow you to enjoy the ride of being at your best and being in alignment with being at your best. I know that I am in alignment and at my best when I'm helping people with my horses or with horses in general. That is my zone of genius. I get that from the Big Leap. You look at what your zone of genius is. That's my zone of genius. And I'm happy. If you ever see a bunch of kids and they're all getting carried away and they're playing and they're like getting really rambunctious, and what do? Hey, kids, keep it down. Instead of celebrating that whole exuberance that we have when we get in the levels of pure joy and ecstasy and appreciation and gratitude and feeling of just, this is going to be amazing. It already is amazing. And riding that wave. And when you get on that wave, like, bring all your friends with you and attract more energy to it and not less. Those kids that are being rambunctious, I'm like, go for it. Get big, get loud, get proud, be heard. All of us feel like we're especially people like me, of my Bellas. We're my Bellas out there. If you're a Bella, then you definitely need to hear this message, because we are so told to, you're saying the same things over and over. You don't be quiet, not to be heard. And when Bellas are shut down, we start to second guess who we are. We start to wonder if we have value, and we lose focus on what was making us feel good. And then we wonder if we can even feel good. And that second guessing puts us in a space where we start trusting what other people tell us that we should feel good about. Social media does it in the worst way on the planet. You should feel good when you have more likes, with the filter, with the thinness, with the big lips and the tiny waist, big booty. All of it is. And so when we stop feeling confident about how to feel good on our own, we start looking for how to feel good through outside sources. And when you start doing that, you're going to, and I think I would not be surprised if the word of the year is not a narcissist or narcissism. I mean, look at what gaslighting last year, right? Like, those are words that show up for those of us that forget what we want and how we want to feel. And if you're like me, you've been through a lot that puts you in a space that doesn't allow you to feel good with the things that you choose to feel good about. And when you are going for those external sources to feel anyway, you're giving those sources your power. And sometimes it takes some taking a step back, which is what I had to do, taking that step back and going in and going inside. I call it, I have my Steam sauna, I call it my God box, because that's where I go and I talk to God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, creator. I like to say God because I feel like I can connect with that. I like to call it source because I feel like that's like a huge channel, like a big, beautiful funnel of gorgeous energy just flowing through me. And I sit in there and I listen to something magical that I love. Like recently I've been listening to, some really good things. I've been sharing these ideas. I'm like, yes, that makes sense. And I can start trusting myself again instead of looking for it outside of myself, knowing what I want, knowing that I can't wait to start doing on-site retreats again, to have people come out and experience the horses in person again, to expand my mission to save horses and change lives. Oh my God, just talking about it makes me feel so good. Who can I talk to today? How can I support someone today? Who needs to hear this message? How can I reach that one person that might in turn want to come and experience this at a deeper level? And start asking those questions rather than why am I so fat? Why am I always broke? Why is it so hard to make money? Why is it this? Right? And be careful with that. I mean, we all be careful with the why questions, because your why needs to be a statement, not a question. Because what your questions really need to be are, how can I raise my vibration even more right now? Maybe I could smile bigger. Maybe I could, I don't know, think better, even bigger. I don't know. Just when I start thinking about that, I even get excited. And excitement is its all-inclusive own kit. When you feel excited about something, you feel truly passionately excited about something, you start getting in alignment. And then when you get passionate about something and you come over and you hit it, like right now, I'm like in a situation where I'm not super happy about being there, but all it's doing is like bumper cars. It's going boop and bump me back over, back into alignment. Boop, come back over, come back into alignment. And if you don't crash into the rocks, if you can just go, whoa, whoa, and get back into alignment, you won't get angry. You'll just get maybe a little peeved, annoyed. And you go, okay, that's enough. Come back over here. Because that's not how I want to feel. I want to feel that fewer, lesser, and less and less. And I want to be drawn by my passion to serve rather than driven by the fears of my past, the belief systems that I grew up with and was taught about certain things. And be walking towards something that will allow my alignment. Because the path of least resistance is the one you're going to take, whether you're focusing on the things you do want or you're focusing on the things you don't. And when you focus on the things that you don't want, you're using a massive elimination process that would take you 30, 40 lifetimes to achieve. Oh, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. You're always going to go, well, don't want to hit up against that rock. I don't want to hit up against that rock. Oh, how many rocks do you think there are, guys? There might be more than one, but there's only one path to enlightenment. There's only one path towards the center of the vortex, as it were. There's only one path to the ether. There's a million other ways to get there, right? And the more alignment you can have, the less pain you will experience. That doesn't mean you're not resilient or you don't have a tolerance for pain, but you won't put up with it. You'll see it sooner, and your feelings will guide you rather than your circumstances. And you can take back the pen to your life and start writing your own story about how you want to feel, what emotions you want to experience today. I think about it just like I go to my closet and pick out my clothes, which are basically Xenogen t-shirts, which is fine. But I go to my closet, my emotional closet, and I go, what emotions do I want to feel today? I think I want to feel some anger and some resentment and some regret and a little guilt. And then I put those in my little bento box. No. If you go into the closet and you go and you're like, I want to feel elated. Today I want to feel accomplished. I'm looking at my whiteboard over here. I have a really cool goal that I want to accomplish today. And I'm so excited to accomplish this goal. And I have such a deep belief about the fact that it's going to take me to my highest and best. Now I get emotional about it. Then I know that it's going to be what that's going to take to allow me to, I can't even talk. That's how powerful the emotions can be. When your why does literally bring you to tears and put you in a place where you say, that is what I want to do today. That's how I want to feel today. I want to feel so motivated and driven and drawn and excited and passionate and service and love, just deep love. Like that was going to take you to the center of wherever it is that you want to be and attract your Fabergé egg collection if that tickles your fancy. Whatever it is. Get those emotions. Go to your emotional buffet and leave the resentments, the angers, leave those, don't fill up on bread. Come on. Right? I think one of my favorite old movies is, there was one that starred Lucille Ball, which was actually quite hysterical, but the original is with Rosalind Russell, and it's called Auntie Mame. And it's a play. It's been made into a movie, or I remember this. I have to watch it because it's just so clever. It's an old movie, like from the 50s or something. And she says at the beginning of the movie, life is a banquet and most poor bastards are starving to death. So I invite you to don't fill up on bread. Choose your emotions, how you want to feel, and step into that vibration. And that one thing will transform the way you show up, how you engage and interact with people, how you express your boundaries, how you tell people no. Because a lot of times we feel like we need to tap into anger to tell people no. That's not what we do. You don't want to do that. You don't have to. You don't have to. So take that today, y'all. I hope this is powerful. I have a really cool thing I'm working on for anyone that is interested in coming to experience things with the horses in person. Please reach out to me. We have Fun Day Fridays coming up. This is our first one, is the 28th. So I'm going to be posting that in this group. And if you want to be a part of what we're doing to save horses and change lives, just drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing Monday. Make sure you are following me on social media and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I finally broke 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and which is exciting because it's all up from here. Y'all have an amazing Monday and believe in yourself. It will change your life. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.